Hey,
Adam, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Good week so far? I think it's Thursday, right? Or is today Tuesday?
It's either Wednesday or Friday.
Somewhere in between there, right?
Right. We're getting by.
Cool. So welcome everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about the SignComp extrusions, but in particular, this is going to be all based on the flex. All right, some flex options we have, just like the last couple of episodes that Adam and I have had. This is just a quick presentation, a few examples just derived towards the product line. So I guess we can go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
All right, Adam. So the commercial product line is where you can find anything flex. Okay, that's going to be Hinge Abul cabinets for service. It's going to be retro frames. It's going to be any type of single or double-sided application, any of your needs that you need with flex. So jumping right in, everybody's favorite tensioning clip. It's a two-part system that you see here. We've got the mandrel itself and the main clip body. Okay, so step by step here, we're just going to go through a couple of tidbits and how this should go. So this is always going to be print side up or graphic side up when you're attaching these clips. Okay, each frame is going to have a different overage and bleed line at the same time. Okay, so step by step, we're going to take the mandrel, graphic side up once again, and we're going to roll that clip in. Now, one of the biggest tips here, Adam, smooth side up. All right, so from there.
That was a good one.
I want to get you involved. I feel like I'm talking too much, Adam.
No, you're killing it. That's why I step back. But let's go right back into smooth side up.
Smooth side up on the mandrel. Okay, that's the biggest tip that we can give is anytime you're going to get a wrinkle or already started tensioning your face, that is going to be the number one cause right there is having the mandrel upside down. Okay, so I think we'll touch on that in a little bit here as a reminder. But next step there is the easiest way is to lift the clip or the mandrel up and then use gravity when snapping the clip into place. So rather than pushing right in the center, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So that's why we recommend going side by side.
Now, Jeremy, when you snap this in there, because this visual is pretty good, but if you're there in your shop and you're snapping the clip on, what's a good giveaway that clip is in the right direction? You've got it down right in front of you.
So the best test to have is just wiggle the clip. Once it's attached to the fabric or the banner material, is just make sure that clip can wiggle, because if that mandrel is upside down, there's a pocketed side on there, that'll snap into place, but the clip is not going to move, and that's why you'll get a wrinkle 99% of the time. We've also updated in our product guide, we've updated the face preparations. All right. So on the left-hand side, you'll see any of the part numbers, a brief description on what frame that is, and the face trim size. So we're just going to go right down the line. The face trim size, that's going to add to the overall height and width of the frame. Okay. So that's what we're adding to the height and the width. And then our clip line. So I briefly touched on that in the last slide, but our clip line is going to be back in 1.5 inches from all the way around. Okay.
This is a great little chart, because it actually will give you everything you need while ordering a print or creating your own print for FlexFace.
Right.
I like that on the bottom here. This is actually a snapshot out of the catalog on page 37. So if you don't have a new catalog, please get in touch with us and we'll make sure you get one out there.
And Adam, we have a question.
Oh, nice. Are all the clip lines the same?
No. Our clip line is the same. You'll notice here off to the side, a majority of them are all the same, but there is just one little outlier here, and that's our wall mount tension frame. That's just our 1 inch deep application that we'll get to in the next couple of slides as well. So just finishing up here. So our clip line, we're going to be back in the 1.5 inches or the 2 1/4. And then the clip placement is another big one here too, is because a lot of times with those wedge clamps that we also carry, the spacing on those is much more significant than these ones here. So another reason we'll get some saggy faces or some clip lines, wrinkles in the face, is because the clip placement is off. It's too far apart. All right, so we brought those in to 5 and 6 inches on center. And then lastly, it's just going to show you what tension tool to use with that particular frame. All right, Adam, is there a metal clip option that will work? That's another question that we had off to the side.
There you go, for Mr. Birnbaum. How do you address that, Jeremy, in most of our our majority of our profiles? How would you address that question?
Depending on which clip we're talking about. I mean, if we're talking about the wedge clamp, that's not going to work in our frames, but it is an option that we have, okay, for tensioning faces. So a lot of times the wedge clamp was kind of the first, if you will, the first generation. So a lot of shops out there still tend to lean towards that route. But with that, there's a little bit more labor as far as having to mount it to an angle and then break forming your own large retainer cover all the way around. And those are typically 5-6 inches in height. So by using extrusion, we've got the frame, the cover, and all the clips ready to go. All right, so getting back, one of the best tip lines that tech tips we can give you is if you print the clip line ahead of time. So that chart that we just went over, as long as we know which frame, if you get that clip line printed, that will save you a ton of time in the shop. We've even had some other shops that will do dashes. So it'll be their clip spacing and their clip line at the same point. So that way there's zero measurement.
Huge. If you're listening and you haven't actually physically applied the clip to the vinyl and you've quoted these jobs, estimated these jobs, or sold flex before, printing that clip line will save a ton of labor.
Absolutely.
A ton of measuring and a ton of time.
Absolutely. Yep. The face is already getting printing. Why not give them the outline for that clip line? So that's a huge tech tip that we offer. And I don't know if this is really a tip, Adam, but this is a tool you definitely need. A lot of times we'll get some pushback on our tensioning frames, but come to find out they don't have the tensioning tool. So if anybody's looked at one of our profiles, you'll notice there's a lot of nooks and crannies within the frame. And with our tension frames, some of those crannies not only are for hardware in the corners, but it gives you the leverage with this tensioning tool. So when you're pressing the clips in for the first time, you just want to hear a couple of clicks inside that frame. All right, because we're just trying to get the face square. We're trying to get a majority of the wrinkles out. And then what we can do is you go back around with the tensioning tool. Okay, so it's kind of like changing a tire. You'll have to go around a couple of times until it's nice and taut. But really, we're just trying to get the wrinkles out. The drum, with it being drum tight, is just going to come along with it.
And Jeremy, we've got a question here from somebody watching us on YouTube. Jake of all trades, are there any limitations with your clips, wind load, banner thickness, etc.? Also, are they reusable? A great question.
Yeah, so we have some data on our end as far as the wind load is concerned. So if anybody needs that information, just reach out to us, send customer service, give Adam or I a call, and we can give you that information. Wind load, banner thickness 13 to 22 ounce is what we've seen, but the sweet spot is 16 to 18 ounce, Adam, because if you get too thin, the mandrel tends to not be as secure, and then if you get too thick, now it's just a little. I mean, with the two parts,
hard to work with. Yeah, we see things like Jeremy mentioned from 13 and upward. One of the nice things about the wind load, if you get an opportunity, we've got a bunch of presentations out there, but we have our tension systems throughout Florida and many areas where there's hurricane wind load concerns, and we've been approved in those areas.
Absolutely. And then lastly, Adam, too, are they reusable? Yeah, the clips are reusable. Sometimes it depends on how the previous company might have loaded these. If they didn't have a tool and they were just trying to beat these in, you might need a little bit more of a new clip in that one, but the clips are reusable.
You know what I see a lot of, Jeremy? I see a lot of people who want to sell this system to change the face out over and over again, especially on the wall mount tension frame. Mm-hmm. What they'll actually do is they'll actually take the banner out, leave the clips on, and roll it up.
Right.
This way it's ready to go. So you can bring that clip in and out multiple times.
Exactly. Yep. Hi, Kara. But Brian, if we go back to the next slide real quick here, this is just going to show you a good technique when it comes to removing these clips to use them again. All right. So just a straight slot screwdriver. There's a little provision right in the back of the clip. You can see down here at the bottom. And all we're doing is we're trying to disengage the teeth on the frame and the teeth in the clip, and those will pop right out, able to use those all over again.
Hey, Jeremy, we got a comment here from Matt, and I think we would agree with it. Matt's just saying, but if the face has been up for a few years, isn't it better to use a new fresh clip?
Not necessarily. It's kind of the opposite if you think about it, because the teeth have only been in the frame that one particular time. It's when they go in and out, in and out, in and out is when they tend to get a little bit more worn down. So if it's up there for a while, it's probably just getting a new face at that point. I'm pretty sure you can use the clips again.
Okay. Yeah. So it's more on the how often it's coming in and out versus how long it's been up there.
Exactly. Yep. So just finishing that up right there is just, the clips are reusable. Straight slot screwdriver gets those out every time. All right. So like I mentioned in the beginning is our hinge face solutions. Okay. So service, once you call customer service and we ask those questions, if you're using flex face, do you want single-sided, double-sided? How do you want to get into the cabinet? And hinging is how the SignComp system works. All right. And so more of the question asking with our customer service team is the double-sided options. What kind of appearance are you looking for? So with these ones you see here is we consider it a bleed or a frameless appearance. So what that means is there's no retainer around the front of the face. All right. You're getting 100% of the VO. Now the framed or the retained appearance, that's another option that we have outside of bleed. So we have a couple of different cover options. 2 1/4, I believe, is the largest. 2 5/8 right in there, and then down to 1.5 inches of a border to give it that appearance. Really, it's just whatever the customer is looking for. So with our single-sided options, this is something we changed a couple of years ago. Was because the LED craze. It's no secret that LEDs are now the front runner for illumination. And so instead of trying to reinvent the wheel with our profiles, we came up with a few new ones. This one in particular is our bleed tension frame here. So this is a hingeable cabinet. All right, the face hinges open for service, but really we want to pay attention to that frame right there. Okay, so now there's no issue or no blockage for the LED light to get up to that perimeter. So perimeter shadows is no longer an option. But right here is 6-inch depth. We can go 6 inches and about 4 1/4 with our single-sided hingeable flex frames, just because of LEDs. You don't need to be as deep any longer. All right, so with the different, yep.
This one's really just showing the flexibility and what you have available to you. So we can go to that 1-inch option there on the far left, which is our wall mount tension frame, which is real nice. It's 1 inch. Limitation is really without a concern because we're really shifting our structure and our load to the wall. And we're able to really go as large as we need to. If you need to get a little bit deeper, let's say you're either lighting it or you want to get rid of the frame look. So if we look at that wall mount tension frame, there's a bit of a framed look, about a 1 inch or so cover that comes around, either in radius, beveled, or square. But then if you move over to that center picture, just by going 4 inches deep, we can now get that bleed look Jeremy talked about earlier with no visible frame. That's 4 inches deep. That's our 2104 sitting on the 2100, which is a shelf designed to mount right to the wall and show a bleed look. And what is extremely popular and new, idealistic for LED illumination, is our new 1-piece 6-inch. It's a tri-hollow, so you're solid, your structure is there. You only have 1 6-inch cover, so you're only painting the cover, and it's a body and retainer in one piece, 6-inch, mount to the wall. Awesome for lighting. Also a great profile for curve cutting and creating custom shapes and logos.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's something we'll get to in the next couple of slides here. So like Adam had mentioned, the wall mount tension frame, it's only 1 inch in depth. It eliminates bungees, grommets. It's just a permanent structure. So with this one, you're pretty much limitless because it's only 1 inch. So as large as your wall is or building that you're putting it to, this frame can go.
This is one where you should be hunting down parking garages, sides of buildings, tractor trailers, anything that you see on the side of the road that can be a wall or something that you can now turn into a dynamic piece of signage.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And then the next one that we had there, and really the main point of that one slide was just showing you that these are our non-hingeable options, so just more of a permanent structure here with these. So this was the 4 inch deep option. You'll see we went 1 inch, but then what if we wanted to illuminate? Now we have 4 inch. And then in the next couple of slides, we'll be getting into the 6 inch. So Adam had mentioned this back a little bit here. So this is just a nice 1-piece solution. I had shown you the 6-inch Hinge Abul frame that we offered, but this is a nice one piece. Okay. This has become extremely popular. Really, I'm just repeating what Adam said, with curve cutting, especially, but really if you just had a face that's larger than we can hinge it open for service. This is a great option at this point.
And Jeremy, you would probably agree this profile in the last maybe year to year and a half has probably been our most popular requested profile for a cloud sign, for a channel letter, for some type of custom logo, or even locker room stadiums.
Yeah, like ceiling mount too in the locker rooms. Yeah, because the banner material is lightweight, and once again, if you're not needing to get in there for hinging for service all the time because of these drivers and whatnot, this is just the best option.
Hey, this is my favorite question so far. Dave Shapiro, head of resources, good buddy of ours, loves SignComp, awesome stuff. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. That was an easy question. I like it.
Yeah, that was not even a question mark on it. I like it. All right. So now jumping ahead and just this is kind of the wrap up here too is our retro frame. So we're not hinging open, but you want to build a deeper cabinet than necessary and still use the SignComp tension clips. Here's our options. So just like the cabinets themselves, we have the bleed application and then the framed appearance as well. So still taking the same black tension clips as everything. So like I said, if you want to get 36, 42, just one of those deeper applications, and still staying lightweight with banner material, now we just retrofit all the way around this cabinet and then the tension clips insert right as we discussed. And wrapping corners, the way our saws are set up, this isn't even considered a custom cut. Just our saws can pivot inward and we'll be able to make that cut. And it actually adds, like Adam was saying, is that it's very cool advertisements, especially with Pizza Hut there.
Right, and we see the one down in the bottom right. That's on a college campus, and they actually change that face out every semester, which is a great selling point when you're putting this up. Is that the frame is going to go in once, and the installation of that banner change out can be a sale over and over again.
And you can reuse the clips.
There you go, man. Well, another quick question here. Jake of all trades, are all of the extrusions able to be curved into custom shapes? What information does SignComp need for the custom shape?
There's, 90% of our frames. We can curve cut anything, but if it's gonna work, is the next question. But
I think that's something we've been kind of throwing around, Jake of all trades. We've been saying that about 85, 90% of all of our profiles, we are curve cutting. If you get a chance to hop in offline with Jeremy and myself, we could talk about the process of witness marks, which kind of determine whether or not you want to curve cut a particular profile. Witness mark could be that choppiness depending on the profile, but we are willing to look at your artwork, DWG, DXF file, something of that nature, and really tell you whether or not we believe we can curve cut it to achieve what you're going for. So
right.
Please think about those formats. We have an incredible team at SignComp that look at those drawings and say yes or no, because Jeremy and I are in sales and we'll say yes every time.
And then hear about it later. But yeah, DWG or DXF file is going to be, if it's a real intricate shape, if it's going to be a circle or a radius corner, just let us know what those are and we'll be able to curve cut those. No problem. But by submitting a drawing, that's what's nice is we dissect, because we're not going to just take our lengths and notch them every ½ inch on center because that was the tightest radius. We will dissect it, what needs to be curve cut and how much that spacing is going to be at each one. All right, so just wrapping up here, just a quick look at what kerfing actually is. So it's multiple notches in the extrusion to create the shape. All right, so we cut everything to size if you'd like. So that way when you do get your kit, everything's going to be curve cut on center where it needs to be, as well as the proper miter cuts if necessary into the frame. Otherwise, we can do just straight lengths, curve cut for you, and then just use as necessary. So if there's any other questions, Adam and I are here for probably another 30 seconds or so, but check out our website. We've got a lot of great literature, as well as our customer service team that's waiting to take your call. We can give you hard copy quotes, detailed information as well. So we do deal through distribution, but we feel that contacting us directly is the best route to go.
Yeah, but if there's any of the profiles that we talked about today that you'd like to have in your hands to get a better understanding, please reach out. We always send free 3-inch samples. and happy to talk to you about any of your projects. Again, as Jeremy mentioned, we'll hang on for a little bit if there's any more questions, but the SignComp website toll-free number is there, or you can just come on to our Facebook or find us somewhere. I don't know. We're somewhere. We're online somewhere.
We're everywhere. All right, everybody, stay healthy.
We got Jonah Eisenberg. Can clips be cut to accommodate a small area and curve? That's a good one. Did you want me to do it? You're just kind of
well, yeah. I mean, yes, they could be. I mean, they mirror each other, so I mean, you could technically cut those in half and be able to use those. But we also have a couple of smaller Lumi clips that work in those really tight areas as well. So, yes, they could be cut to accommodate smaller curves. Do we push that a lot? We don't, just because we don't want anything to happen. But thanks for the question, Jonah. So yeah, any 3-inch samples are free of charge. Just let us know what you need and we can drop those in the mail and get them right off to you. Just get in touch with Adam, myself, or customer service, and we'll be able to assist. So appreciate your time, Adam. Good seeing you again. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe.
All right, guys. Thank you.